This chart shows the annual economic output of an average citizen in 4 different countries. At the bottom, India, then Germany, then the United States, and towering over all of them is Switzerland, generating roughly $105,000 per person. Beyond domestic output, this nation of just 8.7 million people serves as the physical vault for $2.4 trillion in offshore wealth. It acts as a holding pen for 1/3 of all the private money in the world that is parked outside its home borders. This financial dominance opposes its geography. Switzerland is defined by jagged peaks, limited agricultural land, and a total absence of coal, oil, or warm water ports. Historically, these mountains were an economic death trap. To survive, early Swiss communities exported their only abundant resource, young men. These elite mercenaries fought for foreign monarchs across Europe, bringing hard currency back through the Alpine passes. This multi-trillion-dollar economy runs on a logic that subverts traditional rules of development, engineering high-margin prosperity from the isolation that once guaranteed poverty. The shift began in 1648. Following the 30 Years' War, Switzerland secured official recognition as a neutral state. They chose to weaponize their geographic isolation as a permanent political strategy. As neighboring empires spent the next few centuries burning through wealth in dynastic wars and revolutions, Switzerland became the only safe vault for fleeing capital. The mountains provided physical security, while neutrality provided political sanctuary. This advantage was codified into law with the Banking Act of 1934. It made revealing a client's identity a criminal offense, creating a legal shield exactly as authoritarian regimes began seizing assets across the rest of Europe. For decades, that wall of secrecy was the industry's defining feature. But in 2009, under massive pressure from the United States, Switzerland agreed to share client names with foreign tax authorities. Analysts predicted the offshore capital would vanish overnight. Instead, the money stayed. Secrecy had been the lure, but the true product was a system of robotic reliability, extremely low fraud rates, and high-quality institutions. Investors realized the legal architecture of Zurich was more valuable than the anonymity it once offered. That same reliance on systems defined Swiss manufacturing. Without cheap raw materials or access to major shipping routes, the country survived by specializing in exports where the value is found in precision rather than bulk. During the 1970s, when cheap digital watches threatened the industry, Swiss makers didn't compete on price. They pivoted, transforming microscopic internal gears into a luxury art form. They sold craftsmanship and heritage, allowing mechanical timepieces to capture 60% of the global market by value. This evolution mirrored the rise of their pharmaceutical sector. In the 19th century, industrial sites along the Rhine produced chemical dyes for textiles. Chemists soon discovered those same processes could synthesize medication, turning a river-bound dye industry into a global medicine empire. Today, pharmaceuticals account for half of everything Switzerland exports. This output is sustained by an R&D investment rate of 3.3% of GDP, consistently among the highest in the world. By substituting physical natural resources for intellectual ones, the Swiss built an innovation ecosystem that proves knowledge scales more efficiently than physical commodities. These industries thrive on a foundation of absolute political predictability. Switzerland utilizes direct democracy, where citizens often gather to raise blue voting cards to decide laws themselves. This consensus-driven model prevents the erratic policy shifts that often derail economies in other nations. This pragmatism extends to the workforce through a dual education system. 2/3 of Swiss students enter apprenticeships matched directly to industry needs, keeping youth unemployment at a fraction of the European average. When a society is this highly trained and this politically stable, extreme cooperation becomes the default. It creates the ultimate risk-free environment for both labor and capital. However, being the world's safe haven carries a cost. Because the Swiss franc is so heavily trusted, it is perpetually overvalued. Every time global uncertainty rises, investors buy the franc, driving up its price and making Swiss exports more expensive for the rest of the world. There is also the danger of systemic fragility. The 2023 collapse of Credit Suisse led to an emergency takeover by its rival, UBS. Switzerland now relies on a single bank with assets worth twice the national GDP, a corporate monopoly too large for the state to rescue. Despite these modern cracks, The Swiss model remains the definitive proof that geographic limitation is not economic destiny. Switzerland provides the historical evidence that lasting wealth resides in the quality of a nation's rules and the specialized skills of its people. When a country builds a reliable social and legal architecture, the high-value industries inevitably follow.